This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed actor, musician, writer, Damien Baccaris. But before we get to our interview, here is a sneak peek at his incredible talent with him singing the song Just a Boy from his musical, Mirror, Mirror.
I used to be the happy-go-lucky kid, but now that's just a role I play to continue to fit in. If my family knew how sad I was, how trapped I always feel, would they still love me as I am, or cast me out because I'm damned? I am not the one to swoop in and save the day. I am not a god, a king, a savior worth your praise. I am just a teenage kid who's in over his head. I am not a hero, I'm just a boy.
Well, hello, Damien. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing so much better now that I'm speaking with you, and I'm very excited. The audience got a little sneak peek of your incredible and moving and inspiring musical, Mirror, Mirror. Damien, two questions for you off the top. What was the impetus for you creating the musical Mirror, Mirror, and then specifically the impetus for you writing Just a Boy?
All right. So, well, I'd been going to school at NYCDA, and I had come across a friend of mine. Her name is Maiteom, and we both shared this passion for writing together. She's very good with composition and creating, bringing songs to life. And I had like a knack for lyrics. So we came together, and I had this idea to kind of do a little twist on the way that I realized that I myself was a trans man. It's goes through a sort of hero's journey. You have this main character that goes into a fantasy world and follows that same path that most heroes do in modern literature. And I think we've just really wanted to create a queer story that has a positive outlook on it, because a lot of stories out there right now looks at the struggles of it and the negativity. So I think it's really important, what we both think it's very important, that people see that it's actually a good thing for people to understand who they are and embrace it. And the impetus behind Just a Boy itself, it's kind of that feeling that made me realize who I was. It's that, how else do I explain this? It's sort of like you feel like you have to fill in this role in order to be accepted a certain way. And Just a Boy is about how you don't have to be what society says a man should be or anything like that in order to be that. You can just feel how you are, who you are, and embrace it.
Damien, I think what you're doing is absolutely inspiring and incredible. And I'm sure that word's been, thrown around with you a lot. And maybe it gets boring sometimes, but I love the fact that I'm thinking about the young Damiens of the world, as I'm sure you have been when you have written and continue to work on this musical, that now the young Damiens of the world, not if, just when it hits the big stage on Broadway and all over the world, this is a transcendent story that you have made the choice. You have made the choice to build a character with light and buoyancy and optimism and not caricaturize. And I just think of those young Damiens that are now going to be able to look on a stage and say, Mom, Dad, that's me.
That's the hope, because
it's going to happen, and it already is. I mean, look at me. I'm like tearing up, and it's Monday morning, and I am not a trans man. However, you bet your bottom dollar I know what it's like to be told by even my closest to be someone that will make them feel comfortable, not me. A society that said, Will, you need to do this because it makes us feel comfortable, but not me. in the fact that you have done the work, Damien, on yourself as both a human and an artist to give birth to something that's going to outlive you, your children, their children. I just think it's just so beautiful. That's my soapbox moment, but I needed to really let you know that from me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Listen, Damien, I want to know as well that, with Mirror Mirror, I'm curious what you were able to do during the pandemic in terms of working on it, fine tuning it, and where you would honestly like to see it. Like, where are you in the developmental process?
Fun fact about that actually is that it kind of came out of the pandemic.
I love it.
We had been working on things in our classes, being really involved with stuff, and another friend of ours from the same school debuted one of his own songs from another musical at one of our class projects, and I just remember me and Maite looking at each other and being like, we have to get to work. So it was about like February of 2021, we sat down and we started brainstorming about what we wanted to do. And throughout the school year, we would just keep meeting up, whether that would be meeting in each other's apartments as we lived in the same building, or if there were times that we had to stay on Zoom because of building rules for safety and everything, we would also write over that. And I think being in a place where there wasn't a lot of hands-on material to get our hands into for the industry, that the industry kind of came to that little halt, it gave us a chance to kind of spark our own creativity. And we're continuing to work on it now over Zoom as well, because she's back in Portugal, and we're working with the time zones. Right now, we are, I think, almost complete with the first act, as far as like writing all the songs for it and getting all the scenes situated. We definitely have a lot of stuff from the second act, but I'd say that's where we are right now. We're trying to solidify at least the first half of it so that we can present it to other people and see if they want to help us get it up on its feet.
It's amazing. Well, also what I love about two things that for all artists who are out there watching is the fact that, like, it seems like you even sometimes when you would just meet and have no ideas, you were at least meeting, that you were setting these deadlines. And people, I don't think, understand that as creatives, these things just don't happen overnight. We have to set our own schedules. No one is setting up the schedules. And the fact too, Damien, that I love is that you're creating a hero story within this kind of, dare I say, fairy tale-like familiar landscape, but yet still new. Was that something that was a North Star for you from the beginning, to kind of create this kind of maybe security blanket for anyone to be able to lean in and be like, ooh, this sounds familiar, but wow, this is brand new and original?
Absolutely, because as somebody who is a big fan of fantasy, sci-fi, and all that kind of stuff myself, that environment feels familiar to me. And I think it's important that, especially when you're talking about something so real and in this world, it's important to give people that little fantastical element to latch on to, because then it doesn't just get the attention of the people that it relates to, but also the people around you, the people who are not part of the LGBT community, are not part of the trans community, so that they can listen to us and understand us in a way that they understand.
And by the way, what you're doing so brilliantly, you're not doing like a TED talk. What you are doing is you're showing and not telling so elegantly that there's actually more that makes us similar than different, but you're showing it. And I think that's just so brilliant. I have so many questions for you, but before I ask my final one, I just want to let everyone know for more on the incredible Damien, his collaborator, his show. And by the way, everyone, check out the links below. He's an amazing actor and a writer. You'll see him doing original monologues, and you are truly a Renaissance man, Damien. And with that, I'm curious to know if you could give advice to young Damien today, what would it be?
Keep going and believe in yourself, because I've definitely had a lot of moments where I compare myself to other people too much, and I'm just like, but they were my age when they did this, and then and I'm just doing this now, and I'm not anywhere as near as far as them, but just you all have your time, and it's gonna come when it's gonna come. So just keep working at it.
That's right. And Damien, let me affirm something for you. You are a first-rate version of Damien. You're not a second-rate version of someone else. What you're doing is the hardest thing to do, which is to not only go down your own path, you're freaking digging through a wood that's never been dug into before, and digging and creating and building your own path. And yes, it's hardest to do, but my God, you just keep building it, and people are going to follow because you're building something that never was.
Thank you.
I just speak the truth. God bless America. Listen, Damien, it is so nice to meet you, and I'm so grateful that we're connected now.
Absolutely, same.